Oh, What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dead Funny Review Show. I'm your host, Chris. Joining me today are my co-hosts, Kelsey and Bree. And today, we are going to talk a little bit about somewhat of a hot button issue. I'll go ahead and kind of lay the issue out flat, and I'm going to let Bree kind of take away with an explanation for those of us on this podcast, Kelsey, who doesn't play multiplayer games and kind of doesn't really know too much about what we're talking about. And then we'll get a little bit of a deeper dive about how this could possibly affect the game community, what it means to us, and our thoughts and views on it. So, recently rolled out in Overwatch is a lock-in system. What this means is that you have to pick a role that is the only role you can play during that game. Now, for those of you who don't know what Overwatch is and don't understand how Overwatch works, is that you can switch. You can switch through multiple characters, also switching through multiple roles depending on how you are losing. This is a huge strategic advantage for that game type, which means if you're losing and you're taking too much damage, obviously you need a tank or someone who can take a lot of damage in order to be able to change the tide in the battle. Now, once again, this being said, you can still do that and change to different characters, but you are now on a 2-2-2 lock system, which there are 6 people in a game, which means you can only have 2 tanks, you can only have 2 healers, you can only have 2 DPS, to where there are some times where people will run certain strats where you can have multiple tanks, like 3 tanks or 4 tanks. There's different strats, different strategies out there for multiple different people, but the game is now limiting those to have a more even gameplay all the way around. So instead of letting the players kind of figure it out for themselves, understand and develop new strategies and understand to develop more strategies around those strategies, you are now being limited, like hardcore in my opinion, down to only being able to go 2, 2, and 2. But there are bright sides to it, but I'm going to let Bree explain a little bit more since she's actually been dealing with the server and playing with it and understands a little bit better than both me and Kelsey, and then we'll go back and forth if pros and cons.
Yes. So I want to elaborate a little bit more on why this is coming out specifically for Overwatch. Chris kind of discussed that people were just kind of playing what they wanted to play. It was a significant issue. I don't even know how many seasons back, probably like 5 or so. Don't quote me on that. But people were playing and 3 healers. It was called GOATs. People that know the characters, you'd have Zarya, Diva, Reinhardt, Ana, Lucio on the game. And that was all that was happening. So basically, it took out the DPS in the game. And for people that loved playing DPS, people that enjoyed that role, they were getting severely frustrated because they would play it, but if you played it, you would lose. Meta. It was not what you could play to win the game. So that's kind of why my opinion's getting pushed out. I'm sorry, not PTR. PTR is the thing. Role locks getting pushed out. GOATs, it's in order to make sure that people don't go for DPS in a game. Just all the kind of trolly little things people like to do.
What is DPS?
DPS is damage per second. So in other words, high damage characters.
Okay, got it.
Sorry. Yeah. Like basically the gun weapons.
Okay,
essentially.
gun money.
So in other words,
you
like
have the healers that heal people up.
And then in other words, in most of the RPGs you play, DPS are normally like your high ranking, like mages, your high ranking archers, people who are going to DPS or do DPS without like directly getting involved in the fight. So that way your tanks take the damage and they just shoot everybody else down.
Yeah, they're getting the kills for the most part.
Right.
That's the DPS. But in this scenario, DPS wasn't needed because the healers and the tanks were so strong of a combination that they could get kills and survive and then heal up and get kills, survive and heal up. You know, you can imagine the kind of strength that would create.
Yeah, it seems like a really great way to do it, but it's limiting the game significantly.
Yeah,
what it's designed to do.
And for the most part, in most games, people will play what wins versus play. because I mean that's the point of playing competitive, is to gain SR.
Right.
My experience with role lock, I would say, is that it's a lot of negative feedback is happening. And I will say I'm surprised because this is what people have been asking for, essentially. When GOATs came out, a lot of people left Overwatch. A lot of interest left Overwatch. I would say the only thing that was still happening was people were watching Overwatch League, but that was it, which is the professionals playing Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
The people that left Overwatch after that happened. So I'm actually surprised a lot of people are saying they would leave, because GOATs has been a huge issue and stuff that people don't want to deal with.
When I specifically said leave, I was talking about other games. I wasn't specifically talking about Overwatch. I personally don't pay attention to the Overwatch community, but like people like Riot, for instance, is a community I play close attention to. There's a lot of people that are wanting to leave League of Legends if that happens, due to the fact that how many different characters you can actually play in multiple roles that are actually strategic. Mm-hmm. For instance, like I always played Riven in the jungle. Riven is not a jungle character. She's a top character. That would automatically eliminate to where I can never play Riven unless I go top. And I don't play top, I play jungle.
I would say it makes sense for Overwatch because there is a critical issue that's happening. But for other games, I don't think it would make as much sense if it's working out and people aren't... it's not meta to play a bunch of characters you shouldn't be playing. I would say that I feel like it makes more sense for Overwatch to push this through. So in order to play the role lock, I had to download it through the PTR, the public test region. I believe that's what it means.
Could just call it PTS like everybody else. Jesus Christ.
PTS?
Yeah, public test servers.
Oh, maybe it is PTS. I thought it was called PTR.
It's PTS.
Ew.
I mean, for Overwatch, I have no idea. I'm just saying mostly everybody calls it PTS. It's public test servers. Or private. It's not public. It's private. Private test servers.
Private?
Yes.
Well, it's helpful to me to understand what PTS or PTR is, because I didn't know.
PTSD.
So. Thank you. Yeah, that's roughly what we're getting here.
I kind of want to open it up and see what it's called. But the new layout's really cool. It separates them into 3 categories: tank, healer, DPS. And on it, and that's where it's going to put you. So it gives you the estimated amount of time for each role. And DPS is the highest because a lot of people like to play DPS.
For those of you who don't know what she means by estimated amount of time, it means how long you're going to have to wait to get into a game to play that role. Judging on if one role is significantly more in demand than another, you might have a long time to wait before you get into that game. To where it's like if a lot of people don't want to play healer, you'll probably get into a game a lot faster if you just jump into healer.
Right. When I was playing it was under 5 minutes for healer and tank and under 10 minutes for DPS.
There you go.
The best part about this is that it separates the SR. So you can't be a healer main, 100 hours healing, and then decides to go DPS and use that same SR. SR is your rank number, Kelsey.
Right. Thank you.
It's SR is your rank, essentially, that you place within the whole community.
Right. And if you lose games,
so remember how we were talking
SR,
about masters and
you
GM.
Win game, you win SR.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have 100 hours on healer and you go to play DPS, you're not going to get put with diamond. You're not going to get put with diamond players on your DPS that you have like
proven that you can
1 hour.
That.
Yes. So that is the best part. If you switch characters with the quality of skill that you have with that character, DPS, tank, healer.
Nice.
100% endorse. I believe that is great because I don't want to be put with people that don't know what they're doing.
And that's nice and all, but there's still a way to do that without the 2-luck system too, though. You can just have the separated rank SR. There's a separate...
For each character though?
Yeah.
Or for...
Yeah, well, not each character, but each class. So if it's support, that's just your overall SR for that support class versus you being locked into something. They should just separate the support.
Well, I'm separating that out as the best thing that they're changing.
Because that's how League is. Like, it literally will tell you, like, if you click on somebody's thing, it will be like, this person literally does nothing but play jungle. That's literally how it says it. And if you they actually have an app or they actually have an app that I think every game should look into getting their own, and it's called Blitz. Yeah. And if you have Blitz, it automatically starts every time you open up League of Legends. And whenever you go to queue up with a game, it literally gives you the stats on your entire team and gives you the stats on the other team. So it will say something like, these people are in love with each other. And it always does it jokingly. But it says, these two people are in love with each other. And if you click on it, it says, these people played the last 5 games together. Like, their last 5 games they played together. And then it will say something like, for instance, what it always says for me, it's like, what is it? It calls you the GOAT or something. And it doesn't mean that you're good. It just says that basically this person does nothing but play this role. So it always says, like, Chris is the GOAT at jungle. He does nothing but play this role. Like, that's all it will say.
Okay. But the key here is that you can't go into a game, allow you to go into a game, and then switch over to DPS as the healer.
Right. I understand that. I'm just saying.
That's the key. Well, no, because earlier you had said that had nothing to do with role lock. It has everything to do with role lock, because in role lock, you're going to be forced into that role. And you can't play. If you click on healer game, this is with role lock, you click on healer, go into the game, you can't switch over to DPS as in your diamond rank.
Right. I know that. My main
said
goal
earlier contradicted that.
Well, what I was referring to, which is what it sounded like to me that you were saying, and I probably just mistook what you were saying, is that it sounded like you were talking about you like the fact that you were able to see, like, this person specifically is this rank for this class. So that's what I was saying. There's a way to do that without being locked in a role where it's like, if they just make it separate per class, this is your SR for healer, this is your SR for tank, this is your SR for damage, you would know that when you go to play with somebody. And that's why I referred it to what I was talking about in the league. Where it's like,
I don't know if
diamond fucking gold. I'm not diamond, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there for anybody that wants to call me on my shit, because you can totally look up anybody's profile in league. I'm not diamond, but it's like Chris is diamond in jungle. And then all of a sudden they go to look, it's like, oh, Chris picked top. So they can switch over and be like, what is Chris in top? Oh, he's never played a game in top before in his life. Oh, we're about to get shit on in top lane. That's about to happen. Because Chris doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Right. So I guess I didn't mean to miscommunicate that, but
I'm not saying you did. I'm saying I might not have understood what you were saying. But go ahead.
Right. My biggest point is that it is going to ensure that people who don't know how to play a character and are at a different SR, if they're gold DPS but playing in diamond, they will not be able to play that gold DPS with you. So I think that's the best part about it.
Okay.
I would say the worst part about it is if you are solo queuing, doing the role lock, and you are a healer or a tank, you are stuck with the quality DPS you have, the DPS to help carry the team if they are doing badly.
Yeah. So there's no strategy switching in the middle. Yeah.
So actually, that's a point of clarification. In Overwatch, while a round is happening, you can, before role lock, you could just jump around between different characters every time you died.
Yeah, every single time. You can switch it to a completely new hero. So it's like we're taking a lot of fucking damage. We're getting shot down. We need another tank. Someone could switch off a DPS and go straight to tank, and then you would have another tank.
Which I will say is very unusual for a MOBA.
Well, it's not a MOBA.
Well, it's kind of a MOBA.
It's not classified a MOBA. I think Overwatch was one of the first of its kind, and it's kind of like a new like
right. So we are compared to something. It's kind of like a MOBA, but like I would say it's very weird for a game like that to not lock you into
Usually,
something.
Like, you pick your character, that's your character until that round is over, and then it's like, okay, cool, I start with that character, maybe I should go someone else. To where it's like either every time you die, or you can run back to base and you can switch to a different character, completely different class, and do whatever you want to do.
Interesting. So have other games had like other, I know it's not a MOBA, please don't jump down my throat. do other have lock? Like you're saying this is strange.
Smite does.
So wait, Smite what has what?
They lock you into your character.
Well, yeah, whenever you pick your character, you're locked into your character 100%. But see, this is where the MOBA aspect is different. And the reason why the MOBA aspect is different is because with a MOBA, I can pick a character like, for instance, just off the top of my head, Morgan. I was really, really good with her. I could take her into the jungle. I could take her mid lane. I could take her solo lane. I could pretty much take her wherever the fuck I wanted to because I was that good with that character. You can't do that in Overwatch. because the strategy can change. I can be
So
great
it's
as
actually going
shit.
to force the character to a certain place, even if, like, you say you use Riven in the jungle, it's going to force characters to go to like be played the way they were designed.
Well, the Overwatch is different, and that's why I said it's kind of like not like a MOBA. To where with Overwatch, you're not building items on characters. The character is just a character. That's all there is to it. I can build things to support Morgan to take her wherever the fuck I want to go, and then it just relies on my skill to keep her there. To where, like, if I'm Reaper, I do a lot of damage, but I don't have a lot of health. I can't just keep running dead into fucking people thinking I'm going to be okay like Reinhardt, who has 3,000 health. I'm going to get shit stomped every fucking time. There's nothing
It's more about teamwork, strategy, and what characters you can switch to counter. It's a huge counter game, and because you have no items. It's just about the characters you pick that counter other characters, and then the combination of characters.
Now,
and your teamwork.
To go on what Bree was saying, because MOBAs have had this issue before, and Smite was one of the biggest ones where people would complain, is where you would get in a game, there's only normally one person that goes jungle, because you don't need two people in the jungle. You're basically going to leave someone hanging in lane, and you're going to lose lane, then you're going to end up losing game. Mm-hmm. People would get mad because they didn't get to pick jungle first, because someone else called the role, so they would just pick jungle anyway. So now you got two jungle characters, unless you have someone like me who can pick a character that can kind of like multi-do whatever they need to do. There's a lot of fighting going on with that. League was the first person to take steps to implement something to stop that. So in casuals, you can do whatever the fuck you want. League doesn't give a fuck. You want to bitch about casuals all day? Cool, go play against bots. You don't want to fucking play against bots? All right, cool, step it up, play ranked. That's the way they look at it. Now, when you get into ranked, you pick a role. Everybody gets to pick what they want to play, and then you have to pick a secondary role. Then it matches you up. Whoever has the best points in that role and does the best in that role gets that role before you even get in the game. That's just decided before you even get in the game. So then it lays out the entire map like a chessboard, and then it shows you where you're going to be at between the two roles that you picked. And then that's
Which I think is a very interesting idea.
Right. So that way people
But how are you supposed to get better if you never get it?
Sooner or later you're going to get it, because you're going to be in SR, or I say SR, but it's LP in League. But sooner or later you're going to have LP around the other people who are normally around you, so therefore you're not going to keep getting beat out every single time.
Okay.
And if you play with a full team,
I like that.
So then I never had to worry about it, because no one for some reason ever wants to fucking play jungle in League. It is extremely hard. There's no ifs, about it, and I fucking suck at it. But it's cool. I'll fucking keep playing it. It's fine. I enjoy it, but I'm bad. There's no ifs, what's about it. That's why I don't fucking really play ranked all that often anymore. I just fucking go and play TFT now, because that's fucking great. But anyways, so yeah,
you are able to pick multiple roles within this queue, though, in Overwatch.
I understand, but where the issue comes into play is that the diverse aspect of the characters. So let's say I do pick jungle, right? If I'm sucking ass at jungle, we have options to change. Someone else can go into the jungle and I can go into lane. You can't do that. Like if you said, if your DPS sucks ass,
we're talking about you can't do that in Overwatch?
Yes. If your DPS sucks ass, that's it. You're fucking stuck with that.
But you're locked into characters on League, right?
I'm locked into characters, but once again, you're locked into characters due to class. I'm locked into a class. I can pick whatever fucking character I want. Doesn't matter. I'm locked into a section of the map, yes. But I can pick whatever character I want to. I can take a fucking warrior
like in the middle of the game?
What do you mean?
I'm asking, can you switch characters after the game started?
So no, I cannot switch characters. But that's not the point that I'm making here. The characters...
I'm trying to get a picture.
Right. The characters are so multiverse that you can use them in multiple different roles. Okay. To where where in Overwatch, if you pick Soldier... and that's who you want to play, yeah, you can switch, but you can only switch through other DPS. If you have someone on your team that is just a shit DPS and they got DPS, you're fucked, right? That's the end of that game, right? You're fucked.
Well, that's where like counters come in. I mean, you can play Zen. You can play Zen, who does more damage. You can play
to an extent, though, right?
So characters, but it's not gonna guarantee kills.
Right. You're pretty close to guaranteed to possibly lose that match. To where, like, if I'm sucking in lane, I can literally go sit in top or bottom and be basically like a support-ish type character, and someone else will go carry that fucking lane for me. Because that's how League works. The characters are more diverse.
So what I think it's going to come to for Overwatch is that if you're a healer, I think specifically for healers. If you're a healer, you're going to have to find a DPS anyways, kind of. Like, you're going to have to group up with a DPS and a tank or something. At least in my opinion, because when I was doing the locked roles, but I was losing SR substantially more than when I play the regular.
Right. And that's where this fear is
not able
from.
to
And that's where that's where this fear is coming from, because like I said, League implemented something, but it in no way, shape, or form fucked the players from doing anything. It basically gave you an auto ban system. Chris got jungle. Cool. This rando asshole decided he was going to pick jungle, go jungle. Now everybody can report him for going jungle, and they 100% will be able to go look and see his map status. Where did he spend the majority of his map? Within seconds. Boom, they saw that he spent it in the jungle. Cool, that dude's banned. Easily.
Yeah.
That's what they implemented. So people were still able to do whatever the fuck they wanted, but it implemented, you got this first, you called it, this is your role. No one can.
I will say, I was asking people every time I got in a game, and every person was saying they were really happy with it. And I will also say that people were extremely much nicer, more positive, and working together better because there's nothing they could do about it. I'll say to add on is that their SR was not going to be kept, and because it's just practice mode.
Right.
And there's no pressure. So would that have been the case if their SR was
SR? Exactly. Yeah.
That's where we'll have to wait till it actually comes out to know. But I did enjoy the improvement.
Now, see if there's a way they can do that to where people are still able to somewhat be flexible. That's probably going to be what they want and what the people are going to want. I'm just saying right now, it seems like there's a heavy, strict, you have to pick this now, and that's all you can fucking do. And if that gets moved to other games to where it's like, my SR is separated due to whatever it is that I'm playing, and if I pick jungle, I physically can't jump out and do anything else. That's going to impact a lot of games. That's what a lot of people are complaining about right now and are worried that if it starts coming to other games and implementing systems like that, a lot of people are not going to have that much fun.
I was thinking they should add like a voting process. So if your DPS aren't doing their job and they agree to switch, then they allow you to trade characters.
I agree with you 100% on that. That would make a great system. And it's like, hey, you're not doing that well. Will you please switch? Cool. Then they switch.
Right. If they both agree. But will DPS always be like that? I don't know. I've seen it happen in games where DPS just realize they're not doing well and they do get off.
Yeah, and that's where Smite went to go make their first correction. I thought that was pretty good, where everybody picks their characters and it's like, you know what? Hey, fucking, I picked jungle first. I really wanted jungle. You chose jungle. Can I please have jungle? And then they just fucking switch with you. Most of the time they didn't because they're assholes, but they'll switch with you. And that's why, like I said, League ended up implementing their system, which I think is a great fucking system, because then it's like, fuck you. I can't tell you how many times I got in a league and fucking typed in, fucking JG first, and then someone would still be like, yeah, no, I called it. It's like, no, you fucking didn't, dude. Chat log's right there. Stop being a fucking dick. And no, I called it. No, you fucking didn't. You fucking kidding me?
No, like, you didn't.
To where now it's like you go to play ranked, it's like, bam. It fucking shows the whole map, and it's like, this is where you're fucking playing. And that's it. Boom. Done. I can still pick whoever I want, but that's it. I am in jungle. So, and I like that.
You gotta remember, though. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like what they're doing is they're fundamentally changing the basic strategies people use to play this game, and people are upset because they found a strategy and they like this strategy.
Right.
Taken away is A, scary, and B, frustrating. Yeah. And I as someone who does not play any of these games and does not know anything, I see this as people are going to be pissed because their stuff is being taken away from them, and it's the internet.
It's change. Yeah.
But I also believe they're going to be able to continue to operate with new strategies inside the new format.
Right.
And once they get their feet wet and start playing in it, they're going to find disadvantages and they're just going to find advantages. And it's all going to continue on fairly harmoniously.
Right. And I get that to an extent, but where I come in, where I view on the side of some of the gamers who are kind of upset about this and see this as like really strict laws being laid down on them in a game, it's like games have always worked with, you develop a strategy everybody starts to use that strategy because it's good, and then sooner or later someone finds a strategy to be able to break that weak point, and that's kind of always been like a fun thing for gamers. It's like, how do we beat this strategy now? And then if a strategy was legit too unbeatable, then it was up to the developers to then nerf some of those characters to put them a little bit more in line where they should be, so those synergies don't work, and then you move forward.
Right.
Hasn't Overwatch been more active about nerfing and way more so than other places because it's just more active?
I would say, knowing Blizzard as a company, I would say they're probably on par with most MOBA games on nerfs.
Yeah. Well,
it's every week is normally a patch.
Okay.
I'd say Overwatch is good at making sure they're nerfing characters. Do they nerf more than... I only have Smite to compare to. Do they nerf more than Smite? Probably not, because Smite purposely makes their characters overpowered
when they first
and then nerfs the fuck out of them.
Yep. They literally throw them out there as powerful as possible, and then they're all like
people out there that enjoy the cynical part of using broken characters. So
I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds bad, but at the same time, I imagine it's fucking character.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the one part that sucks for me being a fucking League fan, especially playing TFT, it's like TFT is such a new game style that they're still trying to understand that in general, because it's never really been done before besides Dota, and they kind of both almost released close to almost the same fucking time. And I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. But like, there's characters right now, like for instance, like fucking, and I know this isn't gonna make sense to you two because you don't fucking play it, but there's this character named Draven. And he literally just has these two gigantic swords that he swings around and he just fucking throws them. But his attack speed and strength is so stupid early game that like you could have a full fucking synergy. And like when I mean synergy, like there's certain characters in the game that work together that create an extra buff to add on. So it's smart to try to go for synergies. For instance, like just off the top of my head, Noble. If you have 3 noble characters, and like certain characters have certain classes that they're classified in, they range all from like warrior to fucking archer to mage, whatever. Nobles, if you have 3 nobles, they give like a extra 150 life buff to one character. If you have 6 nobles, then it gives that life buff to all allies, which is fucking strong.
Yeah.
At this point, with Draven the way he is, if you build just one completed character or one completed item on him and put him somewhere in the back where it's hard to get to, he will just tee the fuck off on everybody. It's stupid. It is now a thing where it's like, if you're losing, if you can build a Draven, you will win the game. Unless someone else has a Draven and they just suddenly somehow outmatch you. Or if someone's synergy is lucky enough, like that's where my synergy comes into play, because I go Brawler, Archer, Phantom. And what Phantom does is that you only have to have 2 for this to activate. And it randomly hits one character on the map and makes them lose 95% of their health. Automatically.
Holy shit.
So I just hope to God it's the Draven. Because then he's at 5% health. And then what I do with my archers is I build static shiv on them. And every 3rd shot from their bow does a chain lightning through all the enemy characters. So I just built that on all of mine.
Kind of like Odysseus' bow?
Exactly. So I just built that on all of mine and then just hope that the fucking static shiv will finish him off before he has a chance to kill like half my fucking team in 5 seconds. Yeah. It's fucking nuts. Like there's so many different synergies to so many different characters that you can build, but it's like Draven's been broken since the start, and they're trying to figure out whether it's actually Draven's broken or like the synergies aren't just good enough. And everybody's like, no, bro, Draven is fucking broken. And so like I'll say this now that I'm playing ranked, whenever I see someone build Draven and like they start going up to the top of the scoreboard, I say this every time. I'll go, man, dude, the day Draven gets his fucking nerf, all these motherfuckers are going to bronze. Every single one of these. I'm just building Draven, they're going to bronze.
Yeah. It happens in every game. Like in Overwatch, people who played Brig when Brigette, who's the healer that pretty much caused goats, when people played her when she first came out, like they climbed to like GM, Masters, super high, and then when she got nerfed to the ground, they all fell.
And it'll be the same thing
really?
When
like
happens.
that can actually just like with the change of one character that can drop your rank that much.
Well, if you don't practice the other characters to get up there.
Yeah, and that's the thing right now is Draven's been broken from the start. The moment they go to nerf him and he can't do that fucking damage and that attack speed anymore, they're not going to know what to do because they don't understand synergies, because they're like, oh, I'll just build a couple tanks, and then as soon as I get Draven, I'm fucking safe for the rest of the game. Then they're going to go up against people like me who actually understand the synergies and know how they work, and they're going to get fucking shit on. It's not going to be close.
Right.
They're gonna get
You're really
absolutely
excited
destroyed.
for this today, aren't you?
I cannot wait for Draven to get fucking nerfed. I'm sure my neighbors.
You gotta play MOBAs, Kelsey, because people like when you get into the games, you're just like, yes, please nerf, because they just annihilate you.
The way I understand you as like a friend and a gamer, I really think you would enjoy TFT. It is a completely different game. It's not like just playing a MOBA. You're on a chessboard. And it's all about understanding these different characters and how they work and how they move with each other, how their synergies line up. I think you would really enjoy TFT. I really do think you would.
If I wouldn't really like strategic. It, you'd probably like it.
It's really strategic, and I think you would get a kick out of that. And with something like TFT, like League itself is free, but you're restricted to like 5 characters a week unless you want to buy characters. TFT, there's no buy-in at all. It's like the characters they throw in there are because that's the synergies that work. So you literally will not spend a single fucking dime at all. Just going straight in and playing TFT, which is a plus. Because then it's like,
I don't do microtransactions,
exactly.
So yeah.
There you go. So then it's like, if you didn't like it, what'd you lose? Nothing.
I love microtransactions.
I am also in that microtransactions.
They get me
God,
let me tell you something.
You're an accountant.
Let me tell you something.
No better.
I spent $300.
But I don't buy other games.
I spent $360 on Final Fantasy VII's remake, Soldier First Class Edition. If there are microtransactions for that game, I'm fucked. Like, I'm going broke. That is happening. I'm going broke. And now they're talking about, like, the other parts coming out will possibly have their own Soldier First Class Edition with a new statue of each character. I'm going fucking broke on this fucking series. That shit is happening. Every 2 years, I'm going to be spending $360 on another Soldier First Class Edition. If that's what it's called. Because they showed at the latest Gamescom a Tifa statue and an Aerith statue that we have not seen before. So, holy fuck me. That's all I'm saying. It's happening. It's happening, folks.
So, Rollock.
Yeah, back to Rollock. Since we're getting close to wrapping up here. Sorry. I'm pretty excited. Okay,
like our final opinions and what if we think like it should be put in or not.
So I guess the way that we should probably tackle this is like we know how other games are somewhat kind of working, and we went into extreme detail on multiple ones to kind of get Kelsey a little bit up to speed since she doesn't play these like hardcore multiplayer games. So now that we've kind of laid out how a couple different games have, I feel like we touched on Overwatch, we touched on Smite, we touched on fucking League of Legends. And these are the main 3 that a lot of this shit's being talked about with, because other games like Call of Duty and shit, that doesn't matter. Like, we're gonna lock a fucking gun. Like, everybody plays a gun. All right, that's all there is to it. Anyway, so
people would riot if they did that to Call of Duty or
that's what I'm saying. There's nothing to
game.
lock. There's physically nothing to lock. You pick.
Well,
a
I'm
class.
just meaning like if they locked anything about it, like the gun class, you can't choose anything else. I don't know.
But anyways. So, moving forward, I guess it's if these other games I guess each game has kind of implemented their own system. I guess we can kind of rank what system we personally feel we think is the best due to, like, if we were to play the game, how much restriction we would like. And then we can kind of talk about, like, if we had a game that's somewhat played like that. For instance, like Mass Effect, if it had a whole shooter style that you played and you were, like, locked down to a specific thing, would that be fun in your opinion? Because that's what people are kind of doing. They're like referring to it, which is kind of a dumb argument to make. Because I had somebody make that to me. They're like, well, what if Final Fantasy VII came out with a multiplayer mode? I probably wouldn't play it. Because it's not Final Fantasy VII. It's just them trying to capitalize on having a multiplayer mode. I probably wouldn't play it. I'm probably lying. I probably would play it. But
anyone here believe that Chris would not play it?
It would be hard.
There'd be a whole story arc that he wouldn't know anything about. He could survive that.
No.
They put a story in multiplayer. That'd be pretty fucking dumb. That would be pretty fucking dumb. Like, that would be stupid. And I
still don't think any of us believe
a tiny bit of
story,
there
shouldn't be.
Go over there and do this thing because it's helpful to Joe Blow in the corner. Like, there's a little bit.
I don't think
there's really not that much, though.
Yeah, this is where you can tell that Kelsey plays 0 fucking multiplayer games. She's thinking of, like, massive online multiplayer, like, WoW shit. Where it's like, people are in the game, but they're not necessarily playing with you, and you're not necessarily playing against each other. But yes, you go and do quests to help whoever the fuck's in the corner, apparently. Like, that's some massive online multiplayer shit that she's talking about. Multiplayer, we're talking about you dropping a map, your entire goal is to just kill the other team. That's all you're doing.
I know we were telling some stories with Overwatch, Kelsey, but That's like the lore in the background. It doesn't really happen in competitive play.
Good Lord.
Well, that's all I know.
Oh Lord. Anyway, so I guess Bree, you can kick it off on, like I said, kind of like which system do you think was implemented the best versus it being implemented in fan outreach? I know Role Lock is still kind of new, so we really don't have too much of the information there. And then if you had to
compared
choose
to like Smite,
well, I kind of gave you so Role Lock is Overwatch because that's the only one that's implemented. Smite has implemented the transfer trade, which is some people have called it, which is like I said, where like you pick roles, you pick your characters, and then
where you switch.
Yes,
but that's just only in
I know, right? Ranked.
Oh, are you talking about ranked?
Yes, that's what. Oh, that's
okay.
So from what I heard,
right,
Role Lock is only going to be in rank. Yes.
Yeah. I play a lot of non-rank in Smite, so I wasn't thinking about it.
So ranked, and then also leagues, which is you pick your role, you're in that role, but you can do whatever you want to character-wise. So there's, in my opinion, league has the most flexibility. That's just my opinion, but we'll get there.
Just to be clear, does league allow you to switch between? Like, can you see the other team's picks as you're picking?
Yeah, it's a pick ban. Or no, it's not a pick ban. So in other words, first player picks theirs, then first player on the other team picks theirs, then the next two. It's kind of like Smite. Then the next two pick theirs. And I
just think it's not comparable. I don't think that Overwatch can be compared to Smite
and it probably
in
can't.
League.
And it probably can't. But that's what I'm saying.
Because that you can't get items in Overwatch, and it's all about characters. It's a totally different gameplay.
Right. But I'm talking about implementing Role Lock. I'm not talking about the games. So that it's the implementation.
I know. I'm saying that Role Lock is a necessity for Overwatch, but not for Smite. Because if I play healer in Smite, if I play Aphrodite, I can pump up my damage and kill things. Like I literally can lead in kills and damage because of the items I build. Okay. But in Overwatch, you're limited to the abilities and the abilities and what their stats are. Basically, you have no items to change everything. So this is why I don't think they are comparable. I think that the MOBAs are separate from. I would prefer what they're doing to Overwatch over what they do in Smite and I just think that they need to add one thing, which is the vote or the trade. Okay. One person in a game.
I think that's a bad idea. I guess for my opinion on it would be I definitely think League has the best system. I definitely would hate for Role Lock to come to something like League where it's like fucking if someone's stuck in the jungle, they literally have to play a jungle character. They can't pick anything else. So that way, at that point, most jungle characters really can't survive outside of the jungle. So therefore, it's just going to be a fucking shit show. Depending on.
I don't think it would come to League.
I don't think it's going to either. It's just it's a big conversation that's happened on the gaming world.
Right.
That's kind of why I want to talk about it and just kind of get our views on it, and then maybe we can see some other views and some other things that we possibly didn't think about in the comments below.
So. I think it's kind of like a snowball type thing that people are freaking out about it moving over to League or whatever, because Overwatch is severely struggling and they know they have to fix it. I think the biggest difference is what we discussed. Them being ability locked, no items, and then the other ones have items, and you can kind of be more mobile in what you do with the characters.
Yeah.
Watch, you're kind of just stuck. If there's a meta of goats, you're kind of just victim to what's working. And yes, there's creativity that can happen, but not as much as Smite or League, where you can change. You have a lot of items where you can build different things and come up with different ideas and different strategies. That's not Overwatch.
It sounds like the customizability of the character, the way that you play, the way you want to play, and the way you want to play with other people is much higher on these other games. And since Overwatch doesn't have that, they're having to find ways of protecting all of the roles and what people want to play and giving them the opportunity to do that.
Right. That's perfectly summed up, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yep.
Yeah.
So Kelsey, closing arguments with you?
Do you have any
closing arguments?
Yeah, I don't think Kelsey can have like, you know, a big opinion because you don't play the games, but from what you listen to,
from what I listen to, it sounds like it's something worth implementing. It's not something worth losing your head in fear about, because this has an entirely different function at this stage. Now, if it becomes a huge success with Overwatch, and then it becomes something where the people that are making League are like, we're thinking about this, that's an opportunity for the players to speak up and go, hey, here's why we actually don't think this is a good idea. And they make a game for you. They really do, because if you can't play the game, or you're not willing to play the game, then they don't get paid. So I think there's more opportunity for conversation. But if there's something broken in Overwatch to the point where people are leaving, then yeah, give them a shot to fix it. And it may be terrible. And if it's terrible, people will leave Overwatch. Overwatch will go, we're sorry, we're back. And then it'll come back. So I would say everybody keep their cool, keep their chill, and give it a shot.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, we're a new channel, so make sure you spread the love around and try to get our names out there, so that way we can get some more subscribers and we can grow as a channel, and you can continue to see amazing content that you love and like, and also share that with your friends and have conversations about it. Also, if you have any thoughts about this, hit us up in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts. We're more than willing to jump down there.
Please don't hit us.
Talk to you about it. It's fun. It's great. Also, this is the first week of the new layout. Don't forget to throw your opinions out there about that as well. Let us know what you think. And hit us on the Twitters for a more direct form of communication, and the Twitches as well to watch us play some games. Maybe you'll see Bree playing some Lockout and getting pissed off about it. Who knows? Maybe not. We'll see. But at the end of this, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We will see you next time.